Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Chestless Inc., my new realm of beautiful where we find beauty within our battles. I am the owner of Chestless Inc., Tina McGarity, and I am here today trying to be cute with my kimono on, and it is not working. This fan is not a prop, y'all. This fan is because I am having a hot flash, and it is no joke. So yeah, now my hot flash has ceased. I can be cool and get focused and talk to you guys about my next topic. But before I get into it, I need you to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can hear some more of the topics that I have to talk about. And listen, it's not just going to be things that have happened in my life and to me. It's also going to be tips on things that you can do to better your channel, to better your, say you want a website. I know how to do websites, flyers, anything like that that's going to help you get to whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in your life. There are little tips that I'm going to be dealing with, and even when it comes to breast cancer, which I'm getting ready to talk about, some of the things that I did to make me feel better. So yeah guys, here I am, have lost my child, my one and only child, and 3 months later being told that I had breast cancer. I was in stage 2 going into 3, and they had given me 6 to 8 months if my chemo treatment had not worked. I go to my OBGYN and I'm thinking that, was milk coming into my breast and maybe that was part of the problem when she did the examination, but no, she said that she felt the lump. And so she sends me to this specialist. And when I get to the specialist, they do an examination as well and ended up doing a biopsy and told me that about a week later to come and get the results. And when she called, the doctor called, she said to make sure you bring somebody. Make sure you bring somebody. Now, I haven't been told that before, so I was a little nervous, but I still was thinking it's no big deal. It was just the breast milk coming in. And so I bring my husband and I bring my mother. And when I get to the office, the doctor pulls me in the office. The nurse did first. And so she wouldn't look at me. And I was like, this is kind of weird. What's going on? The doctor comes in with her folder and some papers, and she tells me that she has some bad news and that I did have breast cancer. Now, after that, guys, I don't know what happened because I know I didn't faint, but I just kind of zoned out. Everything became a blur to me, and I couldn't really remember what. I just saw mouths move, and I know that I saw my husband come in the room and my mother come in the room. The doctor had no type of empathy whatsoever, and I'm sure she's dealt with a lot of patients, and so I was just another patient. But at that moment, this was my life, and when you instantly think about breast cancer, you think that you're gonna die from it, and that's exactly how I felt. I didn't know too much about breast cancer. I knew about the pink ribbon. I've heard about so many other things about breast cancer, but I didn't get in depth about breast cancer because I didn't really know anybody who had breast cancer. And so here I was with it. And I had to deal with it. And on that same day, we were headed to a prayer rally that was in the same location as my doctor's appointment. And so after the appointment, we get in the car. It's kind of silent. Nobody really has anything to say because what can you say? We were meeting my aunt at this prayer rally, and we get there and standing in line. And like I said, I'm still numb. I still am trying to grasp that I have breast cancer. And so we get into the rally and people were asking if we needed prayer and what have you. And I just remember my hand going up, and it wasn't because I lifted my hand. It was because my mother yanked my hand up so fast, and next thing you know, I was down there on the floor up in the on the stage, and there was a guy there who was a pastor, I believe, and he just started praying for me, and several other people gathered around and started praying for me, and I was so overwhelmed with the news I had just heard and just everything that was going on, that I kind of hunched over, and I don't know. I just felt like, okay, they're praying for me, and I love that, and thank you so much. But I need to be praying for myself, because one thing I do realize is that you're not going to always have somebody there to be able to pray for you or to encourage you or to lift you up. You have to learn to do that for yourself. And a lot of times you have to do that on your own. And even when they were praying for me, I put my hand on my breast that had the tumor in it, and I started praying for myself, and I started believing God to do something. And guys, they said that this tumor I had was as big as a tennis ball. And when I was touching my breast, and I know it was probably kind of weird, and hopefully nobody saw me, but I'm touching to try to feel this lump because I couldn't feel it. And I was like, this is kind of strange, because I couldn't feel it anymore. And instantly I could hear God tell me that I was not going to die from breast cancer, but I would have to go through the process. And I would have to go through the process to be a blessing to someone else. And that's exactly what I've done. I'm telling my story to be a blessing to someone else. Yes, it has been difficult. I still have some side effects from the chemo. My first chemo treatment, when I met my oncologist, he was such a blessing, because this man had a whole roadmap as to what he was going to do for me during my treatment and what I would have to go through. And I remember when my husband and I got up to leave, he gave me the biggest hug, and he gave my husband the biggest hug. And he said that, I know this is what the report says. But then this doctor pointed to the ceiling and said, whose report are you going to believe? Are you going to believe this report, or are you going to believe his report? I had a saved doctor, y'all. I mean, he blew my mind. I had a saved doctor who believed in God. So that made me feel a whole lot comfortable. And I was preparing for my first treatment. They told me what I would have to go through and some of the chemo treatments that I would have to take. And I remember my first treatment that I had. I'll never forget it, because I had that treatment, and they said a day or so afterwards you would start to feel sick maybe. And I know the day afterwards I was feeling pretty good. I was like, oh, I got this, I can, this is nothing, this is pretty cool. But woo, on that third day, I could not even lift my head off the pillow. I could not, crying was hurting me. I couldn't even cry. The pain, guys, I can't even describe to you the pain that was going through my body. And this was just with the first treatment. So, it was just, I couldn't even explain it to you. I used to tell people it's like having the flu 3 times over. So if you've ever had the flu, it's like the worst flu possible that you can have. And that's how my treatments felt to me. And so about a week later, my husband and I are in Walmart, because I wanted to get a few things to prepare for the rest of my treatments, like what should I take, and just a few things to make me comfortable. And we were walking in Walmart. My husband, we had just got there, and my husband is like, we need to go, Tina. So I'm kind of ignoring him, because I got some things to get. And so I got a little attitude. And he was like, we really need to go. And I'm like, well, why? Why do we need to go? And I turn around because he's behind me. He has some braids. I had my hair in braids at the time, and he had some braids in his hand. So I'm walking through Walmart, guys, and my hair starts falling off and falling out of my head in Walmart. The braids are just falling on the floor. And so I ended up not getting what I needed and left, because I was devastated. I was told that maybe my hair would fall out, and maybe it wouldn't. But it did start to fall out walking through Walmart. So I get into my car. We get into the car to head home, because at this point I can't think. And so I decided to try to pull the braids back away from my face. And oh my goodness, when I pulled my braids back, they the braids started to pull from my scalp. And it's as if someone took their nails and was scraping a chalkboard. I could hear the hair pulling from my scalp, and it echoed in my ear. No, it wasn't painful, but that sound I will never ever forget. And when I got home, I decided to try to cut the braids out, which I did. And I said, I'll just have a little afro, and I'll make my hair really short. I don't have no problem with that. I'll still be cute. But I get in the shower to wash my hair because I had just taken my braids out, and all my hair falls out of my head. I can start feeling the skin. I can start feeling the top of my head, and every piece of hair that was on my head fell out and was going down the drain into my bathtub. And guys, when I got out the tub, I looked in the mirror and I almost fainted, because I guess I was in denial of having breast cancer and refused to believe it. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, I finally said, Tina, you have breast cancer. You have breast cancer. No one was around. No one can lift me up. No one could tell me what to do. I had to depend on God. And it's really still emotional, because I'm not a vain person. And even though I sit up and I say that I'm cute and all these type of things, but the reality is that when I found out I had breast cancer, I thought I was going to die. And when I looked in that mirror that day, I thought I was going to die. But I'm here. I'm still here. And my eyes are watering, because when I talk about these things, I'm reminded, and I remember it takes me back to that day, and I can still feel and see those things that had happened on that day. So that's the only reason why the tears. And this is not for people to feel sorry for me. This is not for people to be like, oh, no. This is to encourage. It's still an emotion. It's still a feeling. It's still something that I had to go through. But I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still alive. I am breast cancer free, and it has been 11 years. And I am going to continue to tell you what I've been through, to inspire and to encourage you that if you have breast cancer, or if you know someone who have gone through breast cancer, that it is not a death sentence, is that it is something that you can survive. And those who have not survived it, they are still heroes. They are still heroes. And so I want you to continue to look at these videos. I want you to continue to be inspired. I want you to share. I want you to continue to like. I want you to subscribe, because I'm going to continue to keep talking about the experience with breast cancer. And I also want you to go and get my book, Chestless But Still Breathing, because there's a lot of things that I talk about in that book that will be some of the things that you hear as well. So stay tuned, be encouraged, and keep watching. See you next time.